episode of our show, Storytime with Becky. Today we're going to be learning about the Red Sea and Moses' journey taking the people into the Promised Land. Moses led all of the Israelites out of Egypt, finally after he escaped from Pharaoh. During the day, God went ahead of all of these people in the form of a cloud to protect them, and at night, he went ahead of them in form of fire to help them see where they were going. God led the Israelites up to the Red Sea, but Pharaoh and his army were close behind, charging and ready to stop them from crossing the Red Sea. The Pharaoh thought, oh, they're approaching the sea, they're going to stop. There's no way all of them can swim across the sea together. The Israelites didn't know what to do because they thought they were all going to have to swim across the sea. They screamed, saying, we're trapped, we're trapped. What have you done to us, Moses? Moses said, do not be afraid. God will protect us. God's cloud came between the Israelites and Pharaoh's army, and they couldn't see anything. God told Moses, raise your staff, Moses, over the sea. The Lord pushed the waves away and made a path so that the Israelites just could walk through the middle. The seas raised and divided into two so that way they could all walk in the middle. All of the fishes and all the animals were on each side, and they just had a clean, dry path to walk through. The Pharaoh couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe what he saw before his eyes. But Pharaoh's army followed close behind. When he saw that there was a path, Pharaoh said, charge! And they kept going on horses and chariots, and the Israelites were running. Moses raised his staff again after all of the Israelites had crossed the sea, and the waters came tumbling down over each other and crushed. All of Pharaoh's army was destroyed that day. Finally free. The Israelites could go home and free, and they weren't slaves anymore. The Israelites then traveled for many, many, many days, many weeks, months, years, and grew very tired and hungry. And they complained to Moses. There's nothing to eat in the desert, they said. At least we had food in Egypt. We're starving here. God heard them and sent quail to them for the Israelites to eat for meat. The next morning, he sent them bread from heaven, and they found it on the ground, and it tasted like honey. This was called manna. But then the Israelites complained, saying, yes, we have meat to eat, and we have bread to eat with the meat, but we're thirsty. We want water. So God instructed to Moses to speak to the rock, and water will come out from the rock. Moses was kind of doubtful, so instead, he hit the rock once with his staff, and water came gushing out, and all of the Israelites had cool, fresh water to drink. Now, what can we learn from this? Moses doubted God when he said, let's speak to the rock, and the water will come out. He felt that he needed to physically hit the rock with the staff in order for it to happen. And that's where he went wrong. Let us pray tonight that we trust in God's guidance and not doubt him at all, and that we also pray that no sin and no temptation may enter our minds to lead us away from the path that he set for us.
A miracle. Moses opened his eyes, witnessed the miracle, thanked the Lord, and said,
in the name of the Lord, people of Israel, proceed towards the promised land, towards freedom in the name of the Almighty.
And the children of Israel rushed through the passage with its transparent walls. They were afraid that the roaring walls of water would drown them.
Forward! May the Lord allow us to pass in time! Hurry! Hurry up! Hurry up! Hurry up! Hurry! Hurry up! Don't stop! We must be quick! Forward! Faster! They're on our heels!
Oh, look, Miriam! Look at the little fishes!
The Hebrews were frightened that the water of the sea would crash down upon them at any moment, and they worried too about the angry Pharaoh and his troops, so they ran through towards salvation, the end of the passage. When Moses and all the other Hebrews were out of danger, they watched from a high vantage point the approaching Pharaoh. Then they were struck dumb. The Pharaoh, followed by his troops, ran at full gallop, turning into the passage and its transparent walls. For the Egyptians, it was now their time of revenge. All the wagons ran at full speed, and the distance that separated them from their former Hebrew slaves grew ever shorter. Moses and the Hebrews watched their impending arrival. Moses watched calmly as the Egyptians drew ever closer. He seemed to be waiting. Moses stretched his hand over the sea, and as the morning came, the sea regained its power. The waters crashed down with a roar, engulfing the wagons, knights, and the rest of the Pharaoh's army that had entered the passage in pursuit of the Israelites. The Egyptians were powerless against the sea's fury and were swept to their deaths.
You cowards!
The waters of the sea swallowed the Pharaoh, and the Lord's wrath drowned every last Egyptian. Not one of them survived. That day, Israel saw the dead Egyptians floating in the sea, and the great power the Lord had used to destroy them. From that day, the people feared the Lord, yet trusted him and his servant Moses. The sea had brought about the Pharaoh's demise and the end of his evil reign.
Thank you for joining us tonight. See you next time on another episode of Storytime with Becky. Have a good night.